I like the more recent. That's a good one. Yeah. Yeah. So I might be. On the other hand, like maybe. Yeah.
I mean, I know from recent
That's the thing. Yeah. Did it take you long? I mean, I still like some people.
that's something not so that you go
Last one that I would
right with stability.
But I do use a lot of
Yeah, you wouldn't think so. I would imagine that maybe
funny to jump. Yeah.
that's the first one. I'm trying to do too much work by myself. Research. Oh, I get someone help me
How much?
I've been for 2 years. More
Yeah,
that's the past year.
It is weird when you have like.
So it's right on the cusp.
Does it?
But it's
Especially
a lot of
it's like some other editors.
they're seeing to build out. And so it's starting to
Can you get more of those?
Maybe like the one chance.
Yeah,
It's not like too pressing to learn.
yeah, that's fine. And I do think
Similarly,
yeah, so what do you do? I think it's
just because I see more has a lot more stuff back end or dots for cloud. So iOS keeps at least my team knows web.
There's so many bots. They're all.
So it's like,
Alright,
it's learned not only
but they're all basically the same.
it's just like, I feel like alright, I got
You do, yeah.
expand from there. I have a positive
Oh,
I only learned from
it's yeah, it's really it's like Jeff Brands is the specialize into all these things. They're all just
that's what I've been looking
but I just want to check out this. Also, the more main issue. Offer an entity. I mean, like, you can think like, and there's but I mean, like, you know, so at least I got that. probably get started soon, so.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you just like turn around. Yeah. Oh. He's always getting me like that. Okay. Right. Oh, no, I haven't actually. Thanks for reminding me. Do you have, can you show me a picture right now? Of course. One pretty early on, so Python, and then starting some, which is kind of the direction I was taking originally. Yeah. Saw those recently. I was at the employees store. Are they pretty comfy? Yeah, and it's they're super funny too. I was like getting into that. Okay. Okay. Cool. I'll have to pick some up. So I've been working at the recently. I was out there. When I'm out there, I'm like tired. I gotta like hold myself down a little bit. I like that. It's kind of like an older style. But also, yeah, I might do it. I agree. Other companies don't.
was like, yeah. I was like, what's 2 plus 2? 15. No, it's 4. All right, it's 4.
Oh my God.
I learned super quick.
Hey everybody, welcome. Thank you for joining us. If you can all direct your attention over here, since there's 3 of you, I'll let you introduce yourself. These guys are from Kforce, so give them your attention.
Yes, we're from Kforce, technical staffing firm here in town. We're part of the agenda here is to introduce ourselves, so we'll just do that. But yeah, we're here to talk about landing a tech job here in Portland. So we'll just kind of dive into it. Yeah, so my name is Devin. This is Nicole. This is Samantha. Do you prefer Sam or Samantha?
Sam is cool.
Sam is
yeah,
cool. Okay.
Sam.
So that's Sam. Again, yeah, my name's Devin. So I'm originally from Reno, Nevada. Moved here about 5 years ago. Started working for a company called Simple. Curious, I always just wonder how many people have heard of Simple here? Okay, cool. Yes. So online bank, pretty cool company. I was there for about 3 years, and I saw the company grow from 100 people to 400 during the time that I was there. So really cool experience. Got me interested in technology, and I've been working in that field ever since. So now I'm with Kforce. I'll talk a little bit more about what I do here shortly. Also really love sports, outdoors, and the food scene here in Portland. One more time with the hand raise. Who has heard of Pine State Biscuits? Yes, okay, decent number. So it's my favorite restaurant in Portland. Amazing biscuit sandwiches, so check it out if you haven't. And I'll pass it over.
And I'm Nicole. Nice to meet you guys. Thanks for coming in today. I'm from Portland. I've been here, not originally, but this is home to me. I've been here for the last 15 years. Right out of school, I started at OHSU. I'm sure everybody knows what that is. I was a patient coordinator there, and then was recruited to be a recruiter at Kforce. So been with Kforce for about the last 2.5 years. I've loved it. It's very challenging. It's been a great job, and I'm learning so much about the IT industry, which is huge in this day and age. Hobbies, I am working on my green thumb. I haven't had a very good history of keeping plants alive, but I'm doing pretty good. I have a long plant. They can both vouch for me. I have a plant growing at my desk. It's doing well. I have 2 German Shepherds. They're like my babies, so I spend a lot of time with them. And I love Target, shopping at Target. So that's me. Who doesn't love Target? Yeah, I'm Sam. Hi, guys. From Portland, went to the Bay Area to play volleyball in college, and then moved back up to Portland because it's way too expensive down there. Then I was an assistant preschool teacher at Portland Public Schools, a lot different than what I do now. Now I'm obviously at Kforce as a technical recruiter. Been there for about 2 years now. I really like it, and I love helping people find jobs. Yeah, some of my hobbies, I like to hike, I like being outdoors, camping. I've reserved like 2 camp spots this year so far, so I'm really excited. Started picking up painting a little bit and eating. I love eating. Who doesn't?
Cool. So, and I guess we'll just keep like rotating up here. Yeah. So we'll give a quick kind of overview of Kforce, kind of who we are as a company, and then how we partner with our clients and candidates and help people out finding jobs. Then we'll get into market trends, kind of what we're seeing out there in the market, both in Portland and also nationally, supply and demand for certain roles, that kind of thing. Then we'll talk about how to network, why that's important, and some tips for that. Then we'll get into interview tips. And we'll have time at the end, plenty of time for Q&A. But I also want to be clear that any questions that you guys have throughout, please just let us know. We don't want to just be talking at you the whole time, so feel free to stop us. Mid-sentence, even if you want to, that's really fine. So, Kforce. Remember when I had the really tiny font on this slide? Yeah, it's a good time.
This looks much better.
Yeah, it is a little bit crooked, but that's okay. So Kforce, we're top 10 IT staffing firm here in the U.S. We've been around for over 50 years now. I keep picking this thing. And we have over 60 offices throughout the country, so really really large company with a kind of wide range of companies that we work with, including 70% of the Fortune 100. So a lot of those larger companies, but we also partner with startups as well. There's really nobody that we're not willing to partner with that needs help bringing on technical talent. And so our partnership commitment, this slide really, the big thing for me is when we're working with a client, we really want to be an extension of their brand. So I'm in the role of the sales role or account manager. Basically, I go out, find new clients to work with that could use help bringing on technical talent. In order to do that, it's cold calling, networking, LinkedIn, all that good stuff. Once I determine a client that would like to partner with us, I go in, I learn their business, understand kind of what their big goals are for the year, what they're working on, also their culture. And then when we go out and try to find talent, we are, again, that extension of their brand. We want to really understand them. So once I determine that a company does have a need and they want to bring on an engineer or whatever it might be, that's when I loop in our recruiters and they'll talk about what they do.
Yeah, so part of our talent acquisition is reaching out to candidates like you guys. So there's a few ways that we do that. Social media networks, that's a huge way that we're reaching out. We have an internal database that houses quite a few resumes, and they're actually pulled from like Monster, Dice, all that kind of stuff. So we have a list of people that we can call if we have an opening. We also get out in the community. So we're going to networking events. We're just trying to be as outbound as possible so people can, connect with us and see what's going on with Kforce. One thing that we do, so we have job orders that we work on, and if we don't have something for someone, we do keep a pipeline of talent. So if we reach out to someone, we don't have a position, we'll say, we're always getting new positions, so we keep them kind of on a bench, if that makes sense.
And then just to touch a little bit on digital strategy, just with our world now, with how technology has kind of transformed over the last few years, we really utilize a lot of, you can see all the icons up there. LinkedIn's a huge one. Just showing of hands, how many people have a LinkedIn profile that has, right, that's good. So keep that LinkedIn profile, put as much information on there as you can, get a picture, list your skills. We as recruiters really utilize LinkedIn when we're sourcing for candidates. So the more information you have on there, the better we can match you with the jobs that we have just moving forward. And then we also use, Dice is another really big one for people that are in the technical field. And then you can see Monster, Career Builder, Indeed. So post your resumes on those if you guys are on the market. We are looking at those every day, all day.
Thanks, Nicole. So now we'll talk about kind of some trends that we're seeing out in the market, both nationally and also in Portland.
Yeah, so just a little bit about Kforce's focus and what we kind of do. So since 2016, we've placed a little over 12,000 consultants. The areas that we really support, so the types of jobs that we are constantly filling, sales teams bring it in and we're filling. Just to give you kind of a rough idea, application developers are a really big one. We work on help desk support positions, and then more on the functional side, so business analysts, systems analysts, project and program managers, project coordinators. So it's definitely a good span of different opportunities, and then that also covers a variety of industries. So we have some of them listed here: communications, healthcare, insurance, retail, financial services. So we kind of have our hands in everything.
And just to touch on the skill sets a little bit again that we cover, and some skill sets that might be good. I know that a lot of you are kind of diving into different aspects of technology. So there's project management, business analyst. So that's if you want to get into more of the functional kind of skill sets. So a lot of people go into project coordination. So that's kind of like a lower level project manager that you can move into once your career grows. We do, application development. So if you want to get into mobile development, mobile testing, or web applications, and then infrastructure. Cloud is a huge technology that we're working with and seeing from clients. So, you know, if you want to get into AWS or Azure, like stuff like that is really good to get your hands in. Engineering, if you can see the list. So quality engineering is another good way to get your foot in the door. I've seen a lot of people go into QA just to get their hands dirty with code. You're partnering with the dev team most of the time. So, you know, that's a good way of getting in there. And then, let's see, enterprise data management. So we're seeing data a lot with our clients. So I think, you know, that's a good way to get your foot in the door too. So there's different aspects of technology that I'm sure you all know you can get into. So that's just kind of a list.
Perfect. Did I hear a question by chance? No? All right. Cool. So when we talk about like supply and demand for different types of skill sets out there, we're really seeing, as we looked at all those different skill sets in the previous slide, we're seeing a lot of need for very hyper specialized talent, and so with that, there's basically more of a demand than there is a supply. So very specific types of talent. There's not a lot of people that have those skill sets. And so with that being the case, basic supply and demand, with a lot of companies needing to hire those folks and not being a huge supply of them, the compensation is very high that goes along with that. So I actually wanted to dive in very quickly and show you, hopefully this works, some statistics on specific roles. I don't know if you guys maybe want to scroll for me a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
Or I can, yeah, thank you. Actually, can we go to the top or at the bottom? Yeah, thank you. So this is specific to Portland. Some statistics we're seeing on supply and demand. So this is kind of showing how job postings are growing year over year for specifically application architect. You can see that for every application architect out there, they have 13 job postings available to them. So that's really a space that you want to be in. You're going to have a lot of opportunities working at different companies if you want to move around, that kind of thing. And then you can see the top 5 posters, so the top 5 companies within Portland that are trying to hire for application architects. Of these 5, Kforce actually partners with Nike, Cambia, Converse, and XPO. So we're working with all of kind of the major companies that are hiring quite a bit. And then the average salary at 122 is pretty solid, I would say.
Just a quick question about that job.
Yes.
What is the experience required for that? That seems like a more senior position.
Definitely. Yeah, I don't know if you guys have like.
Yeah, that's definitely going to be kind of at the top for what you're looking at, like a development role, someone being at the architect level. So you're definitely going to need at least probably, what would you say, like 10 years of experience.
Yeah, 8 to 10 probably. Yeah, you would probably start off as a junior developer, work your way up, and more architect is more like design heavy type of position.
Very good question. So we'll kind of keep running through these. Application developer is a very wide kind of range of engineering essentially. And so you can see there's definitely a lot of opportunities and specifically here, because it's such a wide range, there's over 800 job postings a month on average for application developers. This list stays relatively consistent with some of the major companies in town that are growing quite a bit still. And you can see that the salary is growing at a decent pace at 7% year over year, and I don't mind doing this at all. Yeah, it's not that far away. Keeping it moving, business analyst. Surprisingly enough, the need has decreased a little bit, probably just because companies hired so much and then kind of have that need filled. But there still is a major need with 7 postings per candidate. And you can see that the salary is growing pretty well also. Yes.
Quick question, and you probably mentioned this already. Excuse me. What is the geographic area that these stats are?
Yeah, good question. So this is Portland specific.
Okay.
All like Portland Metro.
Okay.
Exactly. Probably includes Vancouver, I would imagine, just because it's kind of close. But yeah, good question. And then database developer, surprisingly enough, has decreased around 40% that need over the past year. But that doesn't speak for data as a whole, just specifically database developer. And for those that are getting into that field, you can see that the salary is really strong and it's continuing to grow at a really healthy clip. Network engineer, kind of similar in the sense that the need has dropped a little bit, and the salary is a little bit lower because it's not kind of on the same level as like an application architect in terms of the experience that you need. And then project manager, so that's somebody who's going in and working with the developers to kind of bring applications to life and organizing all of that. And there are the needs kind of dropping a little bit there, but strong salary. Again, kind of similar with the companies that are hiring for that. We have the national numbers here as well. I don't know if you guys want to see that to compare, or we can just kind of move to the next slide. What do you guys think?
I'd just see that briefly. Maybe just
Perfect.
scroll through it.
That sounds great. Yeah. Did you have a question?
Yeah, for project management roles, I mean, how valuable is it to have project management experience from other industries?
Good question. I think the industries are pretty translatable. So yeah, if you are a project manager or have that experience and you haven't been within technology, I still think that's going to look really good as you shift to technology. A lot of the frameworks are pretty similar, and then there's a lot of certifications you can get, that kind of thing as well. Question. Yeah. Cool. So we'll move to the national. I was even thinking about I could do like a split screen and like compare the two that way, but it's a little complicated. So we'll just run through nationally. I won't even talk through it. Can everybody see that? Wait, I feel like I'm in the way.
You guys have questions, just blurt them out.
Yeah.
Does
Or
an
comments?
application developer include something like front end, full stack, mobile?
Yeah.
Exactly. It's very like wide range
Mhm.
for sure. And if you guys, if you want to connect with me afterwards, I've got a bunch of business cards. If you want to, or LinkedIn, whatever, I'd be happy to like send this to you if you want to see it as well. We're updating this information quarter by quarter, so this is very recent data.
Kind of along with the, try not to miss the question, but along with the growth of some of these positions, are there changes to what technologies are kind of expected? Because I know you said they were hyper specialized. What is the kind of current SOC 4 technologies? Because I've seen, with AWS, Java's been another one, with using REST APIs. What's been kind of the leading technology you've seen that have been
You almost like took the words out of my mouth,
Yeah.
but yeah, Java, AWS for sure.
React.
Yeah, front end would be
Yeah.
React. That's a big one that we see with a lot of our clients. In the mobile space,
Mobile space, like Swift, if you're trying to get into iOS. So Swift, and there's different versions. So, staying up to date, is always good. There's another one. So with Android development, Kotlin. I don't know if any of you are looking to get into the mobile space, but Kotlin is pretty hot right now. Selenium is always a good tool, automation tool. We're seeing Appium too with mobile testing, so that would be a good tool to get up to date on.
experience with HP Polycenter, we see that a lot.
The HP tools.
And if you're looking to, another big trend we're seeing is a big focus on data. If you're looking to kind of work in that space, then any experience with Tableau is really helpful because that's the main kind of tool that's being used with data visualization right now. Did you have a question?
Yeah, in the mobile space, I mean, it's really recent, so I'm not sure it's the question if it's popped up at all. But Flutter, is that?
I haven't heard of that one before. I'm sure, we work a lot with Nike. I haven't heard it we've talked to the managers on calls. I haven't heard it before,
Yeah,
but
it's
I'm
Google,
sure,
Google's putting out just a kind of a cross-platform.
Oh, okay.
Mobile phone.
I'm sure they're short behind Google with using it.
Yeah, we'll have to keep an eye out for that one.
Right.
Interesting. Cool. Anything else? So moving over to database developer. Hopefully everybody can see. Network engineer. again, I'm happy to share this with anybody afterwards if you like it as well. And we'll just kind of keep moving here.
Actually, here's another question.
Yeah.
Nationally, are there any really high demand locations, like in terms of, I mean, generally speaking, like a lot more job openings than,
Yeah, than here locally.
more than applicants. Like if we were going to look outside of Portland for jobs, what would be a good place to look where there's a lot higher?
That's a really good question.
Yeah.
I mean, so San Francisco.
Yeah, San Francisco.
That would be
Yeah.
Yeah.
Most of it, I would say, just is in the bigger markets.
Seattle.
Seattle.
West Coast is a good place to be in.
Exactly. Yeah, we have a team up in Seattle that we work really closely with, the whole Pacific Northwest, and obviously Amazon's up there, so they hire like crazy, and technology is growing a lot in Seattle. But Silicon Valley, you're not really going to beat that.
Right.
If you really like, I have to work in technology, like that's always a good option. But yeah, West Coast is looking really good
I've
right
heard like Austin also.
Yeah.
Yeah, Texas is a big place too.
And East Coast as well, New York, Boston.
now. New York for
Do you
sure.
have East Coast data, or do you do a lot more West Coast, or how are you?
We do have all that data. Yeah, so we have everything that we just saw. We have data on every market that we're in, and we're in 60 different markets throughout the country. So again, I'd be happy to share that if you want to connect with me. That's totally fine. So, any other questions? Yeah.
I just asked about the small areas. What about Central Oregon? As various places are kind of it's obviously small at this point, but various companies are moving in there.
Yeah, I have a buddy that works down there that's an engineer, but he works remotely. I haven't heard too much. Have you guys?
I haven't heard too much either. We don't really partner with a lot of companies in Central Oregon. We're pretty located in Portland or Vancouver, the bigger cities. So.
But I certainly wouldn't turn that down if there's some companies that could use our help. So we might have to connect about that afterwards. Cool. So let's move on to networking. How are we doing on time? Pretty good. So the reason I put a bridge here is kind of just thinking about how the bridges in Portland connect, like the different sides of the city, the east and west side. And that's really what networking is all about, is making that human connection with people all throughout the city. Here in Portland, networking is, I'd say, more important than just about anywhere. It's really not that huge of a community at the end of the day, and so if you're able to get in and start making connections, you're going to hear about opportunities all over the market, the city. And a really interesting piece of data that I found is that only 20% of jobs are actually posted online. This is nationally, so also Portland. And so that other 80%, you're going to have to access that in a different way. You're going to either have to network and get to know somebody that works at one of these companies or happens to know somebody that is hiring, that kind of thing. Or you're going to have to work with a staffing agency, maybe like Kforce, because oftentimes the jobs that we are working on are exclusive to us. They're not going to post them to the web. And so you can get those opportunities through us if you work with us. So that's a good reason to both work with a staffing agency and also to network and hear about those opportunities. And it's probably no surprise that referrals are the #1 method that candidates discover opportunities. And really, if you just think about kind of an extreme example, if you have a target company like Simple, for example, that you really want to work for, if you know 5 people that work there, and then you try to apply, and all those 5 people are giving you a really good reference to the hiring manager, versus just going online and just throwing your resume out there and seeing what happens, you're obviously going to be a lot more successful if you have those connections.
Would a good method for doing that be to, on LinkedIn, reach out to a recruiter at Simple, say, and saying, hey, I'm looking to connect and figure out if there's any positions? Would that be like a way to do it? Or
I think that's totally appropriate. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that at all. And the recruiter will, if they don't have a need that fits kind of what you're looking for at that time, they'll keep you in mind and you can kind of just keep in touch. I think that's totally professional. And also, what I would suggest even more, if you're, say, again, Simple as an example, if you want to be, a developer, like a mobile developer at Simple, find one of those on LinkedIn, reach out to them, and just say, hey, I'd love to grab coffee and learn about kind of how you got to your position, more about the company, that kind of thing. People in Portland in particular are very friendly and want to share the work that they do, and that's really going to be helpful. Because again, they might know of an opportunity that is coming up that you can get in front of before it gets posted online, or maybe it'll never get posted online and you just can hear about it, you know. So really good question. Yeah. Cool. These are just some tips on networking that I've kind of learned as I've been in my role for about 6 months now. Started networking really a lot more heavily during that time. Try to go to at least one or so a week here in town. And one that I think is really helpful is setting a goal. So again, if there's a particular company that you really want to work for, and you know that people from that company are going to be at this networking event, maybe make a goal to at least talk to one of those people that are from that company and make that connection, and kind of like target your focus. Or maybe you can set a more broad goal of, I want to leave today with 5 business cards. It could be from anybody, who knows. But you're going to leave with that sense of accomplishment and like, I achieved the goal that I set out to achieve with this networking event. And then be consistent. Go frequently. If you go to one networking event a year and you hope to be successful with that, it's really just not going to work out for you. Going every week can be like a little bit extreme, but if you it's basically just giving you more opportunities the more that you go with that consistency. Be genuine, be yourself. It's kind of it can be a weird environment at times, you know. You're like putting yourself out there to connect with people. But if you're just yourself and you just have a normal conversation with people, you're going to be a lot more successful than trying to like put on some weird facade or something. And then bring a friend. It can be really beneficial to just go together to a networking event. You have somebody to talk to if you're feeling like super awkward, but try not to just hang out with that one person the whole time, because that's not really networking. But yeah, you can meet people together. Also, if you sign up for something, you can hold each other accountable. You don't want to ditch that person and not go. So it just really helps in that way. And actually, I'm curious, I wanted to ask, how many people have been to a networking event in the past, let's say like 6 months? That's pretty solid. How about the past 1 month? Good. Okay, see, that's awesome. Yeah, great to see that you guys are doing that. I would encourage everybody to do it at least monthly. I think that would be awesome. And here are some of my favorite events that, or groups that put on events that I'm familiar with. So Meetup, some of you may have heard about this event that we're at right now through Meetup, and you can go on there, you can put your preferences out there saying, I really love technology, I want to network, you know, those kind of events, and they'll just send you weekly, here are the events going on related to technology in Portland this week. Pretty awesome. That's how I hear about a lot of mine. New Tech PDX is great. I go monthly to those events, and with them, they'll do, I think, like an hour and a half to start, where it's networking, and then after that, and well, during that time, they have food and they have beer and all of that, and then they'll have like 4 companies share kind of what they're working on, and typically they're relatively new, exciting technologies. So a really good way to learn about what's going on in town. And then Out in Tech is a good one as well. They're national, but they put on events here as well, really based on like the LGBT community. Anyone can go, and really just kind of encourages those folks to get involved in technology as well. So those are some great events, and we'll move from there to interview tips, unless people have questions. Yeah. Cool.
Okay, so just to cover some of the interview tips, working with Kforce and the recruiter and the account manager, even we will walk you through all of this, and just make sure that you're prepared and ready to go if we are, you know, we have an interview set up for you and you're going to go meet with the hiring manager at one of our clients. So just to kind of cover a few of the things that we really focus on and have seen great results from, is spend some time researching the company. So take a look at their website, look at their mission and values, make sure that that's aligned with what you want to do moving forward. And then I think just being able to reference that throughout your interview and kind of tie it in where it's applicable will just show that you've kind of done your homework. Another thing that we always recommend is look at the hiring manager, whoever you're going to be meeting with, LinkedIn. Kind of look at what they've done, how they've gotten to where they have. Maybe you went to the same school as they did, or maybe you worked at the same company. It just shows that you really, you know, spent some time to kind of look at their background and are really interested in the position.
And for technical interviews that you're going on, I wrote explain thought process and think out loud. Those kind of go hand in hand. So if you're thinking about, they're asking you a technical question and you're kind of, thinking about it in your head, kind of explain your process of, what you're thinking and how you're answering the question. A lot of managers are going to want to know your thought process and why you're coming up with this answer, how you're getting to the answer. So I think that's a really good piece. Also, keep it concise. So think out loud, but keep it concise. So they don't want you to, ramble on about all of your thoughts. If you can, just keep it condensed and solid, and then be honest about your experience. If you don't have experience with the technology, you don't want to make up an answer. They'll be able to, know that you're making it up. So just be honest and say, I don't know about that, but I'm willing to learn. A lot of managers out there are looking for people who can be resourceful and learn on their own. So I think that's a really good key.
Yeah. And then another thing, prepare a few questions. Almost every single hiring manager will save a little bit of time at the end of the interview and ask you if you have any questions. So just prepare them ahead of time. Typically anywhere from like 3 to 5 is always a safe bet. And those questions can be anything, from questions about the position, questions about the company, the culture, the team that you'd be working with, the work environment, but just show that you're interested in the position, and hopefully you are. So it won't be that hard to come up with those questions.
That's a great point when you talked about the interest. If a hiring manager leaves 5 minutes at the end for an interview question or for you to ask questions, like, hey, do you have any questions? No, I don't have anything. I don't really care. Then it's going to seem like you're not really interested, So I just to kind of second that.
Yeah, of course. And then the other thing that we always recommend is send a thank you note. If you're working directly, if you get an interview directly from a company, send it to someone, whoever's contact information you have, send that off to them. And if you are working with Kforce, we are more than happy if you want to send us a thank you note, we'll forward it over to the hiring manager. But it just again solidifies your interest in the position. It also can showcase your communication skills and just shows that you are interested and eager to hopefully be with that company. And then the last thing, I think we've said it a few times throughout this presentation, is just be yourself. That's going to get you the farthest. And normally, your nerves will settle down if you can just open up and be yourself. And you guys are the professionals. You have the background, you've learned the skill set. So just be confident in that.
Any questions on interview tips? So we covered a lot today. Just to be clear, I very much enjoyed biscuits. If I didn't get that across to begin with, and we talked about Kforce. We talked about different skill sets in technology, hiring trends, networking, and interview tips. Just as a refresher. So appreciate the questions that you guys had throughout. Do you have any additional questions here? Yes. Sorry.
I was going to ask, you mentioned earlier on about having a bench, right? So if you're like a recruiter having people you can pull from if they're in the pipeline, let's say. So a question for, applicants might be, how do we get to the front of the bench, like the first, side, if you will, keeping with the metaphor? How do we stand out to you guys?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think checking in is key. So, we try to check our bench, once a week probably. But if you're really interested, you're just trying to see what's out there, I would say reach out to your recruiter or, whoever you're working with, maybe once a month if you haven't heard from them. Reach out, give them a call, just check in. We'd love to hear from you, what your interview activity is, or if you're seeing what you're seeing out there or struggling with. So yeah, just check in.
And I think another thing to keep in mind is when we're having that initial meeting with you or phone conversation to learn about your background and your skill set and what you really are looking for moving forward, again, be yourself. Let us see into your personality a little bit, and just remember you. Not that we're not going to remember you based on your skill set, but just really opening up. Our business is all about relationship building, and that's what we really use the bench to do, is to continue those relationships, because we might not have a position today, but maybe we do in a month from now, and you'd be the first person to kind of pop in our minds. So
seeing more about us, maybe you can find a position that fits us better too.
Right. Of course.
You have one first, and then Nicole? Okay, go ahead. Did you have one? Yeah.
I was going to ask about the kinds of interviews you all run yourselves. Did you do, obviously you do some screening interviews, do you also do any technical interviewing?
Good question. Dave, you want to go?
Yeah, so we do our initial interview, just kind of get to know you. We'll go over some technical questions just to gauge, where you're at and what you have experience with. We do have code challenges that we can send, and those kind of create either a score or can show a manager your actual coding ability. So we can do that too. But mostly we just kind of talk to someone and can kind of gauge where they're at and what they're looking for.
Yeah.
That
And then
answers your question.
just to kind of one more point on that, we do also utilize some of our current consultants that are out at a client working through Kforce, and we will pull them in because they're obviously an expert in some of that more technical screening aspects of things. So we'll pull them in and maybe set up a call with you and them, not to drill you on the question or technical screening, but to give you a better understanding of the group and the team and what interview questions may get asked, just because they've been through themselves and have a solid understanding of what they do every day.
Go ahead.
I was just going to ask, how often do junior developer positions come across?
We get a few. They're few and far between, to be honest. But we do see them out there. Some clients will ask for a senior developer, but really they're looking for someone who is willing to learn. So I mean, the personality piece of it is huge for a lot of clients, especially in Portland. So I mean, it can kind of vary depending on the client.
Yeah, a lot of our clients are looking for the more, kind of senior experience, but at the same time, that doesn't mean that we don't come across them.
Right.
Yep.
So with those positions, kind of like bouncing off the entry level type stuff, say on my resume I have personal experience with Java, and that's been through personal projects, something that I've done through academics. How would I best translate that it's not professional experience? Because oftentimes I get recruiters that are confused, like, oh, I see you have Java. And it's like, well, it's not through my company, it's just through a side project.
Yeah.
How do I best translate that so that I'm wanting to learn in it, but I don't have that professional background?
I've seen on resumes, people will have their work experience section and then personal projects, and you can list out, your projects, what tools you're using, and then if you have a GitHub or portfolio, something like that that shows your work, that's an awesome way to, show someone that you have that experience, but it's not professional.
And a lot of the hiring managers that we do work with on those types of positions will ask to see a GitHub if you do have it. So just making sure that you can put everything you have together on that, just to kind of showcase your work. That's always helpful too.
Yeah, and at times depending on the role and the hiring manager, if you can't show some sort of GitHub or portfolio, that can be a bit of a deal breaker. You just need to be able to show something, So definitely encourage you to do that. Yeah, good question. Yes.
Hi, as you three know,
Hello
I'm
again.
also a recruiter. Hi,
Yes.
everybody. You guys did a really good job.
Thank
Touched
you.
on a lot of key points that I work with my candidates as well. Networking is so key, and I know that you're wanting some sort of assurance that there is a position out there, especially because you're going to code school and you're learning and you're excited. My very first placement as a recruiter was right out of boot camp. You worked at Hollywood Video before, and you got a job, $65K. So they are out there. A good recruiter, like these three up here, or account manager and recruiters, they are going to work with you on your resume and your interview skills, and they're going to put that time into you. So some of these like resume questions, they're going to make you better. But there are some poor recruiters out there too. So if you have a bad recruiter experience, don't let it completely just salt your whole experience with us, because there are some really good dedicated recruiters that are going to help you. Because we do our jobs the best when we're helping other people. I'm going to have to leave it at that. My cards will be over here. We're totally different than Kforce. They're huge. We're really small. I also advise, especially newer people, to have your hands in a whole bunch of recruiters. Develop relationships, because they work with Nike. We don't work with Nike. We're trying to make people fun Nike. We all have different opportunities, so you want to try to build relationships with anybody that's going to be able to help you in a genuine way, like you said. But you guys did awesome.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
I have to be recruiters with you.
Absolutely.
I got it.
Any other questions? And we'll also be hanging out for a little bit afterwards too, if you want to just talk one on one too. Yeah.
Certifications. I mean, there's like a million roughly, so they're not that hard to get. Some of them, but which ones are actually worth getting? Is there like a top 10 list for by position? Do you guys have that?
It's gonna be so much based on the position.
Yeah,
for sure.
and the
You guys have
company
thoughts?
and the project, yeah, that's a tough one to answer. A lot of the positions we talk to the managers about, they don't really bring up certifications for the most part. But I mean, we were talking to a Nike consultant, and he had an AWS certification, and he said it's pretty hard to get. I think. Do you guys know that? Yeah, he did. So I think that could be beneficial. Just the AWS piece of it. Other than that, I don't know.
Yeah, it's definitely beneficial to get some of the fundamental knowledge, but if you're actually doing the work and you're getting the experience, that's every time we're working with clients, they care more about that and the knowledge and you can actually do it than just the hypothetical, I can imagine that I can do this because I have the certification, So yeah, good question. There's definitely plenty of them that are, beneficial, but I don't think just because you don't have one, it's going to stop you from getting a role if you're qualified for it otherwise. Yeah, good question. Cool. Awesome. Thanks so much for joining us, guys. Yeah, we'll be hanging out, and we appreciate you taking the time to come.
And we also have some pens on the back table. There's cookie rolls, some beer openers, and keyboards on them. So grab whatever you want. Yeah.
Cool.
Thank you.
So what is it? What jobs?
I currently work in marketing. Okay. And then much quicker. What is it? If I had a job, yes. Well, actually, honestly, I feel like oh, yeah, you're going against. Yeah. Or it's you work your well, we said 5 a.m. So this is start at 6. Okay. And basically, we're really limited to 4 hours. We can work minimum 4 hours. So once we have 40 we're done. So Fridays and Friday. Okay. So so once you're done,
So are you doing the next step?
trying to figure out how to transition
Yeah. How we
yeah, we do specifically for secondly, where our is so we just do the PowerPoint.
label the product.
Yeah. Yeah, so just labels for products or requirements, which makes us sound
Johnny Virgin, so
What did you choose?
So a little bit less.
Yeah, I was 14. Yeah, back here now. Yeah, that's one thing that piqued my interest. I don't know
Yeah, I'm basically trying to go to
So are you finding that you know it takes actually get that starting time?
Right. I do enjoy the university. And so now I'm trying to find out specific
Oh, wait.
Okay, fiber. Okay.
So basically, like, all the big website for you.
And I'm getting paid for it, but
It's also a way
I
to
get paid
get
$1 or something just to say.
It's also a way to get potentially get like you were